Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to remove flyaways or crazy hair in Photoshop with the spot healing brush tool and the clone stamp tool. Let's get started. So here I have a photo I imported into Photoshop, and the first thing I'm going to do here is we're going to work non-destructively. So I'm going to create a duplicate layer by pressing Ctrl J, and then I'm going to go to the spot healing brush tool. I'm going to zoom in with Ctrl plus. I can hold spacebar to move my picture around with the hand tool, and then any little flyaways I can simply just use the spot healing brush tool, click and drag on any little flyaways, and Photoshop will do its best to automatically blend it in with the background. And flyaways, again, are so small that it doesn't even blend it in, it just deletes them. So that's a great way to work on flyaways. But it also can be very difficult to work with big hair. Let's say I try to highlight, spot heal a big portion here, and it kind of can look unnatural here. So we're going to deal with this in a different way. I'm going to do Control Z to undo that change. That's probably the best feature about Photoshop is Control Z. Then I'm going to use a different tool here to deal with bigger changes, and that is the clone stamp tool. The shortcut for that is S. And so the clone stamp tool, you have to be very careful with it. Not that you can't undo it, but the fact that before you use the clone stamp tool, you have to define an area to clone. And so you do that with the Alt key. So you hold down the Alt key until there's kind of a bullseye pattern, and then you click the area. I'm going to click the background close to the hair I want to clone, and then I'm going to drag over the flyaways. And again, the more often you sample, the more often you click Alt, the better kind of sample you'll get, because you'll be closer to the hair. Because as you can see, my background kind of varies in color a little bit. At the top, it's more darker, and at the bottom of the background, it's more lighter. So you can kind of tell that the color's changing. We'll fix that later. But again, just resample here, and we can get rid of these flyaways. If you notice that plus sign here, that shows where it's sampling. Also note, you want to use a soft brush here. You can access your brushes in the top left next to the stamp sign. You can scroll down and see your size. Hardness should be set to 0, and then you want to select a soft round brush. It should be your first option. It should be selected by default. So again, you can go here to find all the little hairs you want. So you want to be very careful sometimes defining hairs here. So there you go. And now I want to do the skin. The skin is probably the hardest part here, her left arm here. But I want to make sure that I do this right. I know I've already messed it up a little bit. And so for this skin part, what we want to do here is we want to go uncheck aligned here. So that means that the sampling will follow us. It will align with us as we brush over it. And so we don't want that. So we want it to be, there we go. It's going to resample. And the color of the skin isn't perfect, but we'll work on that in a second here. So there we go. So now we're going to do the bigger parts of this hair here. And I will do that by sampling. You got to make sure to sample. If you forget to sample, again, the skin will forget. And now I can do that. Get rid of these spots by resampling here. And let me do this side of the hair here. And let me do the top of the hair. I kind of forgot to do that. I got to sample. Again, just keep on sampling with the clone stamp tool. You can spend all day on this or as little bit as you want. Okay, so let's say, let me get this part right here by the shoulder. And I'll show you guys how to deal with the lighting differences in a second here. So, and kind of got to do this part as well. I didn't like how that hair sample turned out, so I'm going to Control Z it. And again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to resample to get rid of this hair that got stamped in. So you got to be very careful with the stamp tool, because sometimes you can get unwanted consequences. It's kind of cool to show you guys. I think it's good to leave in the errors. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to leaving the mess up. So this is the after, and that is the before. So this is before, and this is after. So one thing is we also want to do is we want to make the skin look a little bit more natural. So what we're going to do here is we're going to mask it. I'm going to click the mask button. It's right next to that FX icon here. And instead of inverting it, what I'm going to do here is we're going to go to the brush tool and I'm going to paint it black. And I'm going to set my flow. You can kind of mess with the flow here, but I'm going to set my flow here to like 10%. So that means it will only paint at 10% strength, basically. So I can make this skin. I want to make this left arm here look a little bit more natural. So I don't want to let the hair to show, but I want the detail of the arm to show a little bit instead of that clone stamp tool. So I think that's okay. And I want to get this kind of upper region here. I know there's a lot of hair here, but what I'll do here is I will then make a new layer, use my healing brush tool to gradually, slowly make that look better. And there we go. So now, again, and again, I can go back to my mask and I can simply paint or paint as little or as much as I want. Again, make sure to switch to the brush tool, and anything I want to, any details I want to kind of show, I can paint over like I'm doing right now, but I'm going to Control Z that because I don't want it. So any details I want to let in, I can allow. And so now we can see the before and we can see the after. So I think that looks pretty good. I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know if this helped you, and have a great day.